today. My name is Emily and I work for the Manta Trust, and today we're going to be learning about manta rays and their environment. So working for the Manta Trust, we've been established since 2011 and we're a UK-based charity, but we're based all across the world because manta rays you can find across all tropical and subtropical regions. So we collect data on a primary basis, we then share this with other non-governmental organisations, and we have our marine education program that we run as well across. So over here you can see a lot of our affiliate projects, and they are based all across the world studying the population of reef and oceanic manta rays. But us ourselves, we're based in the Maldives over here. So just to give you a little bit of an insight into the Maldives itself, we are situated in the Indian Ocean basin across this little island archipelago that is made of coral reefs over here. And looks something like this, and we actually have one of the largest population of reef manta rays across the whole world. So it's a really beautiful environment that we get to understand more about these animals and their environment. So you may be wondering, what is a manta ray? And for those of you who've never heard of a manta ray before, or maybe even never seen them, I'd like to introduce you first to their family. So this is a group of different animals in the ocean environment that are related to manta rays. And this has a nice big word we call cartilaginous elasmobranchs. But in very basic terms, this means that these group of animals, namely your sharks, your stingrays, your eagle rays and your mobulids, as well as mantas, they don't actually have a hard skeleton. Their skeleton is actually made of cartilage. So if you guys can wiggle your ears, wiggle your nose, this soft tissue is what makes up their skeletal structure. So very unique, very niche over here. So let's dive into a little bit more about what manta rays look like. We actually term them as our gentle giants, and that is because, unlike their other relatives, they do not have any stings, so unlike your stingrays, and they do not have any teeth that they use for feeding, so again, not like their sharks. So if we take a closer look at a manta ray, you will find that they look quite like a cloak or maybe a butterfly structure, and they have a very large surface area. So looking at the front of the animal, you can see they have two eyes, they have a very big mouth at the front, these two unique fins that they can roll down and roll up for feeding, and they have these beautiful big fins that they use to swim like this to help propel them through the water. Then if we have a look at the underside of the manta ray, you will find they have what we call gill slits, and they have 5 of those on each side. And like other fish, they use their gills to breathe in the water. So they'll be swimming forward, the water passes over these special organs, and then they can breathe through that way under the water. And then you may be noticing these ruby little spots that they have on their stomach. And every manta ray has a completely different spot pattern. So you will never find 2 of the same. And that's kind of just like your thumbprints. So if you guys have a look at each other's thumbprints, you will find that you two will never be the same. And that's just like our manta rays over here. They do have tails, they have no sting, and they have pelvic fins, which we can use to identify whether it is a female or a male. And we can look into that a little bit later. So you may be wondering, what do these big animals eat? And since they're so big and they're related to sharks, you may be thinking, are they predators? Are they hunters? What are they doing? Manta rays are actually predatory animals, but what they're searching for is really, really small. So these large oceanic giants are actually searching for some of the smallest creatures that you can find in the ocean, and we call this zooplankton. And zooplankton essentially are lots of tiny organisms that are just drifting in the ocean currents. They're not strong enough to be able to swim against these currents, so wherever these currents go, the zooplankton also follows. So a manta ray will use its nostrils and these spoon-like cephalic fins to find that plankton in the water. They'll then open their big mouth, the plankton, the water all goes in, and then it gets trapped in their gills, which looks like this over here. The water then passes out of the animal, and then the plankton, an example over here, gets stuck inside the gills, and they feel like that all through the day and even in the night as well. And it's recognized that mantas can eat up to 6 kilos of plankton in one day.